Hello and welcome back to Dynamite Dunks. I want to bring back some audio from the other day. I think this was actually when the Pistons blew that lead to the Lakers. The game Stu got kicked out of. People have been asking why Rant, Bay, Cade have been playing a certain type of way than we are used to seeing them. And that's because the Pistons are running the Trailblazers offense from about 2 years ago under Terry Stotts. This is going to be more of a rant and a breakdown at the same time. With all that said, let's begin. Operation Restore the Detroit Pistons has been derailed this season to the point where no matter what fan base I visit, the Pistons are the butt of every joke. That will continue when the team loses to Sacramento, who is on a losing streak, and to Golden State without Wardell, Draymond, and Iggy. With the loss to the Warriors, I'm officially on the fire Dwayne Casey train. Him and his awful coaching staff need to go, and that's the main focus of today's video, the Detroit Pistons coaching staff. Here's some quick background on what happened this offseason. Most of Coach Casey's staff left after last season. They took jobs on playoff teams because they want to win rings, so that left Casey the task of finding new coaches, and he did a horrible job finding new ones. First assistant is the main cause of the Pistons' problems. For the last 2 seasons, as a Carmelo Anthony fan, I had to watch the train wreck that was the Portland Trailblazers offense. Their system under Terry Stotts relied on ISO ball, and it worked for them due to having elite ISO scorers in Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. What happens is that they swing the ball until one of the 2 scorers is in their favorite spot on the floor. Once they are there, they just attack while everyone else stands and watches. If one of them gets doubled, the first guy who's open shoots. The second part of their offense is high pick and roll for Damian Lillard, so he can hit logo shots. Now this offense only works if one of the 2 is radioactive. If one is on fire, they will win in a nail biter. If they are both cold, the team is getting blown out. Take a minute and think, because as a Pistons fan, you've seen both of these scenarios before. And that's due to the fact Dwayne Casey brought in Jim Moran. Who is Jimmy? Well, he's an assistant coach for the Trailblazers under Coach Terry Stotts. Now the Pistons are running that offense, and of course it's not working. The Pistons don't have Dame Time or CJ, so that was never going to work. This system doesn't fit the personnel on the roster at all. The reason Portland ran that offense is that they didn't have a facilitator on that team. Take a look at the Pistons, who don't have that problem. We have Cade, who can break down defenses and find open shooters. Plus we have Killian, who's an elite passer. The Pistons backcourt is fully able to run an offense. What they are doing now is having Grant be Damian Lillard and Bay be CJ McCollum. I've seen a lot of people asking why Sadiq is playing so much ISO ball. This is why. The coaching staff is asking him to do this. We've seen Bay and Grant get high point totals this year because of the offense caters to them, but it phases out the guards to the point where Killian and Cade are not involved in the offense. Against the Warriors, Cade just took 2 shots in the second half. Just 2 shots. Jim Moran and his awful offense could have stayed in Portland. Next up is Jerome Allen, who was an assistant coach for the Celtics last year. Before that though, he was head coach of Penn State. There he was caught laundering money for the school. I have a problem with this hire, as Casey always says he wants stand-up people around the organization. In pre-draft, Casey asks questions to Cade like, do you make your bed? To see if he's solid. Yet the guy caught laundering money is helping him with coaching. It makes no sense to me. Not only that, no way someone goes from Penn State to Boston to Detroit. He is clearly looking to be the head coach. So Dwayne Casey basically hired another Nick Nurse, someone who's looking to take your job at the first opportunity. I have no idea what he was thinking with this hire. The next couple of coaches aren't as awful, but still suspect. First is Rex Clayman, who was an assistant coach for the Sacramento Kings. He was with Luke Walton, who was just fired the other day. Moving on to Billy Bano, who coached for the Indiana Pacers last year. For those who don't know, the Pacers had serious issues with their coaching staff, and it boiled over to the point where coaches and players were ready to fight during a game. Why on earth would the Pistons want anyone from that clown show? I have no idea. Just from top to bottom, awful. Last thing I want to talk about is Casey and his inability to make adjustments. It took him 3 games to figure out Josh Jackson can play power forward. Instead of doing the obvious, Trey Lyles got bodied in the paint, and on the other end of the floor, the Pistons were lacking scoring without Josh. Then against the Warriors and Lakers, his out of bounds plays both failed. The first play was Jeremy Grant, a drive and kick. Cade should have been the one doing that since that's his game, to drive and kick. The ball still ended up back in Grant's hands, who had a decent look, then Frank misses a tough one as well. Then against the Lakers, he drew up Hammy spinning mid-air and throwing the ball to Bay in the corner. At that point, why make it difficult on a young team? Just have Grant or Cade take a 3. Instead, the Pistons don't even get a shot up. The only reason the team lost was due to no adjustments once LeBron was ejected. I made a video on how LBJ and Westbrook would not work together. And looking at the first half, they don't. This duo has no chemistry. But once LeBron was gone, Westbrook could play his brand of basketball. How did I see this coming but not an NBA head coach? Kojo was getting absolutely destroyed, then Casey had some sense to bring in Diallo. But at that point, dude was on fire and that was the ball game. Casey never acts, he reacts, and that's why the Pistons are struggling out the gate. There's a lot of other things, guys. Not playing Saben Lee. Like, he's only been playing Saben Lee because he has to, because Killian's out. Not playing Luka Garza when we don't have any centers on the roster. Like, you want to develop him, you need to play him. It just is what it is. Trey Lyles isn't guarding anyone in the paint. And that wraps up this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I really want to hear you guys' opinion on should we move on from Casey or not, or is it too early to do that? Also, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to see more videos just like this one. That's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Versus LeBron. Stoop versus LeBron. Stoop versus LeBron. Stoop versus LeBron.